What's up, everybody? Kier Gomes here, and welcome back. Alright, I kind of owe you guys this one because I said I was going to do it. I injured my hand, I didn't get around to doing it. Here I am, making good on my promise. Today we're taking a look at the first playing cards V3 by Chris Ramsay. Right now, it's not a secret, okay? It's not a secret that when Chris Ramsay comes out with a deck of cards, people want to buy that deck of cards. The service that I'm doing for you is letting you know whether or not it's a good investment of your money. I do believe this deck is still available at first.shop, so I will link that below. And before we get into the review, this episode is sponsored by Anthony Spices. Anthony Spices is a company in Chandler near Phoenix, Arizona, and they sponsored this episode. They sent me, these are the Guinness Book of World Records hottest cheese puffs in the world. They use the Carolina Reaper, which is literally the hottest pepper in the world. It says on the warning to wear gloves when you're handling these. So there's also a disclaimer saying that Anthony Spices is not responsible for misuse or abuse, and it can burn or irritate your tongue, fingers, eyes, skin, orifices, or anything else that this item might touch. So if you guys are spicy food nuts and you would love to see what all the hype is on with these, you can go to Facebook and look for Anthony Spices. Get in contact with him. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to work out something with you. All right, so before this review, I'm gonna eat one of these. We're gonna do a Hot Ones challenge. I'm gonna see if I can get through an entire deck review after eating one of these. I'm not wearing gloves, but here we go. Let's see. It hits you immediately. Before we get started, drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Roll the intro.
Let's go.
It's so spicy, it gave me the hiccups. I did the one chip challenge last year. That's hotter. I'm ready. All right, so by now, Chris Ramsay probably does not need any explanation. He's pulling over 3 million subscribers on YouTube. He does puzzles and magic, and people really like him. So about 3 years ago, he came out with the first playing cards. This is the V1. I have reviewed this on the channel, so I'm not really gonna get into it, but this was a very impressive deck of cards. It had a lot of things in it that had never been done before, like a gold foil stamp that goes all the way to the edge, making for beautiful fans. It really was a nice deck of cards, and it did very well. And then the following year, we got the first V2 playing cards. I wasn't as big a fan of these. I didn't like them very much, but I also did review them on the channel, so I'll link that below if you haven't seen it. And then a couple years later, we get the first V3 playing cards, which is very unique in comparison to the first two decks. The tuck box is done in matte cardstock, so it is not glossy, it's very matte, which adds some elegance really to the deck. It does have that classic golden band around the entire deck that says first in this kind of US dollar font. I really like that. And you get these Bermuda tree leaves, almost like palm trees, that kind of wrap around the tuck. There's nothing written anywhere else on the deck except for the bottom, which says first playing cards by Chris Ramsay. The inside of the tongue flap, you get Chris Ramsay's monogram logo, and you get that classic first kind of print all on the inside of the tuck box. I mean, like, you can see it goes all the way in there. So that was the tuck box. Let's take a look at the deck. Those chips are still getting to me, oh my God. All right, now when I said that I wasn't expecting to see something so playful, what I really meant was the first two decks were very elegant. They had a kind of fancy poker night aesthetic, kind of almost like a casino back, but done very, very elegantly. Where this deck is a lot more playful. You can see that you get a thin white border with these green and kind of olive gray type leaves in the corners. And you do get that classic first foil stamp band that goes mirrored on both sides. This makes fans look very, very nice. As you can see, you get like a golden band that just runs through your fan, similar to what a lot of people are doing now, but in gold, which looks great. This design in general is a lot more, I think, like I said, playful. It's a lot more minimal. It's a lot less classy, but more fun. I like it. In case you're wondering what I'm getting at, I do like the design. I was hoping to see something a little bit more like the first V1 playing cards, but let's face it, when you're Chris Ramsay, you can literally do whatever you want and people will buy it. As well, this is a two-way back design, so no matter which way you hold it, you can see the card pattern does not change. I'm also pretty impressed with how accurate the borders are. Usually with USPCC, one of the borders is a lot thicker than the other. A little bit on this deck, which nobody has any control over, it's just the way it goes, but pretty good making sure that the borders lined up. That's nice. Your ace of spades looks like this. It is a Bermuda leaf in the shape of a spade pip with the first logo foil stamped right there in the middle. Catches light nicely, looks very reflective. And as well, you can see it has standard USPCC indices. Not a bad ace of spades. I think there was an opportunity there to do more, but in general, I do really like the idea. You get two identical jokers, nice and simple. They say Joker in each corner, and it has the first logo foil stamped in the middle. Now the thing with foil stamping, especially this much of it where it's on the back and some of the card faces, the cards did come out of the box feeling a little bit clumpy. They needed to be broken in before they were smooth. It's really not an issue because the cards don't stay clumpy. They just kind of start off that way, and then once you get some of that excess finish off of the foil, they feel better. All right, now in terms of ad cards and gaff cards, you are gonna get a ad card, which is a rendering of a snake done in gold foil. I think that looks really cool. It's kind of an homage to a lot of classic Magic, like snake charming. It also has kind of a David Blaine feel, which I really like. And you get a duplicate Four of Spades, which can be used for multiple different Magic effects. Right out of the box, this deck does come in a semi-mnemonica stack. If you cut to a very low point in the deck, it'll be in full mnemonica, which you can use for a lot of great Magic effects and a lot of good mentalism routines. I personally don't use mnemonica stack. I prefer the Sidestebbin stack. Your number face cards are going to be completely bicycle standard. Everything from the color to the size of the pips to the indices are just as you would see them on a bicycle deck, which I really like because it does keep some momentum for Magic. Your face cards have been modified in terms of color. The spades and clubs have been modified to be black, gray, and gold. And your hearts and diamonds are as well black, gray, and gold, but with the red pips, which really make them pop with a nice contrast. And some of the royalty cards are holding things like leaves instead of weapons. And you can even see that the King of Hearts is holding a Seven of Diamonds reveal, which can also be used for Magic effects. Now personally, I don't mind the court cards. I like not a lot of customization. I like it to look standard. In terms of the faces, I think that was a great design choice. All right, so that is pretty much it for the way this deck looks. Let's switch angles and talk about how it handles. All right, now in terms of handling, this deck does feel pretty good. After you first get it, the foil does make it a little bit difficult to work with. It's a little bit clumpy, so the first thing you gotta do is give it some shuffles. Riffle shuffles for sure, really some pressure moves just to get some of that excess off of the foil. And then the cards feel really good. They feel smooth and slippery and ready to go. They are printed on crushed USPCC stock, so they feel just like the first V1 and first V2 playing cards. As well, they feel similar to pretty much any crushed bicycle deck. They feel like the Knights playing cards or the pink Rounders. It's how easy it is to spring. It almost doesn't take any effort to spring the cards, which I really love. You can see it's nice and easy to just kind of glide, and I love that. Here's that new dribble sound. Ooh, gotta do it twice. Yeah, that's nice, I like that. Card's definitely Pharaoh best from top to bottom. Not a very good Giant fan, but to be fair, I've had this deck for a couple weeks now. So really like the way that the cards look in spreads and fans because of that gold ribbon that goes through it. Check out this fan. It looks really, really nice. Even after the cards start to clump up a little bit, it still looks really, really nice. I think that the borders are pretty much a perfect size to mask any clumping when you're fanning your cards. My stomach hurts from these damn cheese balls. In terms of things like Magic, this is absolutely a deck you could perform with. You're not going to have any issues there just because the faces are relatively standard and the back design is fun and unique but not distracting, which is also really good. But as well, card flourishes are going to look great with this deck just because of the nature of the gold band, the way it catches light. You can see it looks really reflective and really nice, but as well, I think any deck with a floral pattern looks cool for things like cardistry. So yeah, there you go. Well guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode and my review of the First Playing Cards V3 by Chris Ramsay. I like this deck. This is a deck that I definitely think I will use, and the more I use it, the more it grows on me. Ultimately, I do like it. I like decks that have kind of floral patterns and designs on them, like the Sub Rosa deck or the Floral deck. Another big shout out to Anthony Spices for sending me this bag of fire. I don't think I'll be eating any more of those for a while. I can still feel it in my tongue and my guts. But if you're interested in doing something a little bit beyond the one chip challenge with the world's hottest flavored chip, find Anthony Spices. You can find him on Facebook and hit him up. Get yourself some of those, because let me tell you, if you think you're brave, that'll test you for sure. Please don't forget to drop a like on this video. It does help me out, and I hope you'll consider subscribing if you haven't yet. All that being said, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. I know I will. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.